What if all the limits you think you have in your life weren't real at all? What if they were just a result of what your mind has been conditioned to believe? The paradigms, the perceptions, the influences that you've had of your past or present circumstances? The human mind is far more powerful than we realize. And today's guest has spent more than 3 decades proving that live on stage in front of millions of people around the world. If you have ever felt like there is more inside of you, more creativity, more possibility, more than, this provincial life, then this conversation is going to change the way you think. And by changing the way you think, you can actually change your reality. If something invisible seems to self sabotage or hold you back, that's what this conversation is all about. What we're exploring today is how this understanding of the hidden power of your mind can actually transform your confidence, your leadership, your relationships, and your ability to actually create the life that you want. I have spent a decade doing work myself as a high performance coach and really seeing the power of the mind to create a reality that was exactly what we desired in manifesting. And that's why I wanted to invite Brent Webb on to the Crown Yourself podcast. He is an acclaimed mentalist and mind power expert. For more than 30 years, Brent has performed in 109 countries and captivated over 2 million audience members with his unique blend of mind magic, taking audiences on a journey to the farthest reaches of the human mind. From Las Vegas to London to Miami to Madrid, Brent has amazed audiences around the world with performances that blend entertainment with psychology and the extraordinary potential that our mind has. He has shared the stage with legendary entertainers like, oh my gosh, hold on to your hats. Joan Rivers, Don Rickles, Shaka Khan, Kenny Rogers, and so many more. And beyond the stage, Brent has delivered powerful presentations for Fortune 500 companies, including Ford Motor, Nabisco, Hershey, and professional sports team like the Cleveland Browns and Arizona Diamondbacks. But Brent's work goes far beyond entertainment. Through his events, corporate training, and his teachings on the human potential, his mission is very simple: to help people realize the incredible power that is already inside our minds. The Crown Yourself podcast is here to do that. So let's unlock your next level of leadership. Click the subscribe button. Make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode like this. And with that, I'd like to welcome Brent Webb. Thank you so much for being here.
Wow, he sounds amazing. I can't wait to see this guy.
I'm like, well, let's bring out the mind magic and the showmanship. Because I mean, especially when researching a guest, it's so fun to see the giant impact that you've had on stages around the world. And then when you come into a podcast interview, it's so much more intimate. And there's, not the giant stage, there's not, crowds of thousands. It's just you and me having a conversation over a cup of coffee.
Yeah, and sometimes that's better, right? Because this will be here forever, and this can, help people long, long into the future. So I love this sort of thing. Any way to get the message out, I'm all for it.
So with mentalism, can you describe, because I think stage show hypnotists and mentalism, it's had a performative, perception around it. And obviously you've done it from the stage in front of thousands and millions actually. But how does that translate into daily applicable mindset shifts?
Well, I started out as a magician, a little kid magician. I was an only child from Ohio, a little chubby kid. And like a lot of kids, you want to do something, to stand out. So I wanted to become a magician. And it was during those early years that I would take out library books and every Saturday. And one Saturday, there was a copy of a book called The Magic of Believing that had been put on the shelf, by accident in the magic section. So I took it home and it was all about the power of the mind. So at 9, 10 years old, I started to realize, wow, there is more here going on than I can understand. I didn't quite grasp it. But I went into my career starting as a magician, but I slowly started moving into mentalism, which is, magic of the mind. So it's sort of the same thing, except you're working with, the mind. The thing was, while I was performing all over the world and being paid to tour the world, I got more and more into the real power of the mind. So I was being paid to go around the world, but I was meeting thought leaders and religious leaders and, mind power experts and learning the real secrets of this. And I started putting it into my life. And it's like anxiety went away, insomnia went away, everything I've ever faced kind of dropped off. And when you look back, you realize, wow, this is incredible. Over time, all of the things that used to bother me are gone because of these principles. So it's just, I've made it my mission now. I love doing the show, but after the show, you get all the applause and it's very hollow, right? Now it's like people email me, people come up to me, they're doing these things, it's changing their lives. So it's like it's a whole new, I've just really made it my mission to get this word out, about the power of your mind,
Yeah. I mean, when I discovered that NLP, neuro linguistic programming, was created by two magicians, Richard Bandler,
right?
like that shifted of like, oh, this is like magic in a way when we can realize how our minds control and can grasp onto like such deeply held perceptions. So I'd love to know, what are the core principles that you found that were the most impactful for shifting and essentially healing you of what I call plagiarized programming. That was like all the programming that shaped you to be who you were and your personality that you no longer are now. What was the one principle that you, I mean, there's many, but what was the one that really struck you?
Well, the thing that I understood from when I was 10 years old, the big realization was I'm not the voice in my head. The voice in my head talking is not, most people just think that's them. It's them talking up there, not realizing, it is programming that you've built, over the course of your life, especially when you're younger. So the idea that, you just need some awareness. The very first thing people have to do is become aware of what the voice in your head is saying. And a lot of people say, well, I don't have a voice in my head. And you do. If I tell you to, say hello in your head, you can do that, right? And the voice that you make talk isn't the voice we're talking about, though. It's the voice that just pops up and says, remember the birthday party in third grade where you peed your pants and everyone laughed and then you get embarrassed? Or you're driving down the highway and you see a car that looked like your ex-girlfriend's and now you get sick in this. That is the voice we're talking about, right? That it controls our lives. So when I started to realize, wow, that is not me, there's a separation between me, the person who's, the soul, the consciousness, and these thoughts that are just crazy. I mean, I had the most anxiety-ridden thoughts my whole life for no reason. I never did know why. It was just crazy. And I started drinking, I started smoking, I started popping, I was doing 30 Vicodin in a day in my 20s, all of this crazy stuff. Just because, I was so overwhelmed by this craziness going on in my mind. So the thing that really changed it for me was just awareness, bringing awareness to what is the voice saying in your head. Because once you figure out what it's saying, it's so full of old programming and BS that it starts to fall away because it no longer holds power. It's like anything you drag into the light, it loses its strength. So that was really the big moment for me. And from there, everything started to change.
The moment for me was from reading at 17, Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And the first habit of like be proactive and that you're at cause for your life and you're a conscious creator. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. No, no, no. I am a victim of my circumstances.
Right?
That just awareness, that shift in the paradigm of the belief system of like, wait, I actually have a in this dance with the universe. Like I actually have a say. I actually can create from my thoughts, from my words. When you think of mentalism, though, what have you seen that reveal how easily our perceptions and beliefs can be influenced? Because right now, I mean, we are in a very reactive time in the world. And I'm seeing a lot of people, there's influence from news and social media. And yes, we have the awareness. How can we start leveraging the power of our minds to understand where we're actually being influenced and or manipulated?
Well, fear is the biggest thing that they use against us the most. And when I say they, I mean, governments, leaders, people in charge, and it's not a conspiracy theory, it's the way it is. That, they tell us that we're separate, they divide us by race, they divide us by sexuality, whatever. Because it's so much easier to control people when they're all divided. In mentalism, you can look at somebody's body language, you can influence them to do certain things. It's very easy because a person they're made up of their past experiences, right? That's why it's so easy to tap into, like you see a lot of conspiracy theories with, people are out to get you, and then this part of the world, this is happening, and they're going to be coming for you next. Fear is a really easy button to flip in people to get them. It's really like getting mad about something, getting crazy about something that doesn't matter, while all these other things that really matter are slid by are slid by you, right? Because we're at the point now, because of technology and cell phones and iPads and all of that, that it is much, much easier to be influenced. I'm just thinking back to when I was a kid, like in the 80s. Come on, right? I mean, we thought TV programming and advertising was the thing. Nowadays, you see two people in the same room texting each other instead of talking out loud, right? They're watching TikTok. They're watching, and once you like one thing, the algorithm starts to give you more of that thing. So it's like whatever you believe, it's going to make you think that that's true because it's going to keep showing you more of it, because that's how the algorithm works. But that's not reality. And so we're all living in this illusion where we think, we not only do we think all these little things matter, but we think that we are the most important thing, the person. So everything comes through the lens of that. It's like when you're looking at reality, you're looking through the lens of your past. Like you said, all of your past experiences make up who you are. So you never see true reality. You're looking through the lens of all the things that happened in your past. So we're all walking around doing that. And then we're wondering why everyone is fighting and no one can be in a relationship. It's crazy. And the more that we get addicted to cell phones and technology and social media, the worse it's going to get, because it's much easier to influence somebody when you're controlling what they're seeing all the time.
One of the greatest skill sets that I see is going to just be dominating for leaders in the next decade, for the ones who choose to rise, is discernment. How do we practice discernment with our minds to differentiate what is actually true and what is propaganda, fear, and not just from like governments or leaders, but from like our own relationships? Like, where can we discern where we're actually telling ourselves a true story and the story that maybe from our parents or from, a different relationship? How can we have that discernment, not just with the macro, but also with the micro in our personal lives?
Well, I think you have to understand uh, technology, both sides of it. So the great side is everything is instantly accessible. So, if you do a little research and are willing to open your mind a bit, so you're not just looking at CNN or Fox, or if we're talking about news, but, if you're looking at one area and all of your influence is coming from that, it's time to at least start branching out. Because doing some research, instead of, people don't want to do it because they think, I don't know, it's too time consuming. I think most people just are afraid to do it because they think it may certainly change their perception, which
Yeah.
is the idea. It's much easier to be in a group of people that are uncomfortable than it is to be in doing something new, or trying to understand someone else. Another thing is that you can do is give the other person the benefit of the doubt. There's a lot of things I don't like, but if I grew up as them and I had their parents and I lived where they lived and I went to the schools they went to and the friends that they had, I would be them. So I would have that opinion if I grew up as them. So you have to look at that. It's not like, it's not like they're an enemy. That's what everybody makes the opposition immediately the enemy, instead of trying to learn something, instead of trying to maybe talk and trying to see, instead of someone's talking to you and you're actually listening, or are you working out in your head what you're going to say back to what they're saying, which is what most people do, right? So it's like you have to be willing to look at the other side of whatever the angle is, do a little research before you go down some rabbit hole that's really going to get you in trouble.
Yeah. What are some of your perceptions that you have noticed have changed as you've done this work for over the course of 3 decades?
Well, it used to be a lot easier to engage a live audience. Nowadays, people don't exactly know what to do. because it's not like it used to be where people are out going to comedy clubs and they're out going to different live shows. Live events now, like when you go on a cruise, okay, that audience is not there to see me. I mean, they'll be out, it'll be great, but they're not there to see me. They didn't book the cruise to see shows. And so when they come into a live venue, it's like nobody knows how to really react anymore. They're just not used to it. Do I applaud here? Do I, and you'll see a lot of people talking, which never would happen before, but like they think they can just talk. I see that a lot, where they can get in there. Getting people together in a room like a theater, giving them a common experience, that's the same. It's just a little harder because, again, attention spans, cell phones, all of that stuff is still going on, even though they're not supposed to be. You'll see people looking at their phones. You'll see people on their Apple Watch. They say our attention span now is what, like 8 seconds or something. Like it used to be 70 seconds back in the 80s, and now it's like 7. And that's why when you're scrolling through social media, it's like bright colors and like these things to try to get you to stop. They literally have seconds to get you to stop. So I would say that, attention span is definitely different. But in the end, people just want to be happy. They just don't know how to do it. We all want the same thing that we've always wanted. We just think it's going to be in a person or a car or a house or something is going to make me happy outside of me, instead of realizing, I'm the one in charge of the happiness is an inner thing. You're not going to find it out there, but we all look for it. Oh, when I get a smaller butt, I'll be happy. When I meet the right girl, when I get this new car, but it's not the things that you want. It's like the feeling you want from the thing. Right? You want the people to look at you and think you're successful driving the car. And you don't ever want the thing. It's like, go one step further, do a little research on yourself, and you'll see there's something behind that, and it's something you can grant yourself. You can't go out and buy confidence, or you can't go buy love. I mean, you could rent it for a while, but you're never going to buy it. Right. So those are inner things. Confidence and love and courage, those come from within, and you grant them to yourself. People think they have to do something to earn that. And that's the problem with our society. It's like in your life, there's maybe 6, 7 peak experiences. Most people will have like wedding day, birth of their first child, first new car, like the day that all the energy rushes up, right? They don't realize that that energy's there for them all the time, but you've blocked it, right? So
Mhm.
you've got 6, 7 like prime moments, and then you've got thousands of things you do not like or that aren't the way that you want. So think about how that scale is tipped inside you. You're looking at reality through the lens of the past and also through the lens of what I want, what I don't want, and you're trying to go out and make that happen. And again, you're wondering why everything is all screwed up, why it looks like you're living the same day over and over again. Because you're continuing yesterday into today. It's like there is no break.
Brent, you literally said the thing as to how I healed myself from 10 years of bulimia with no psychological or medical intervention. My breakthrough in that it's not the number like on the scale that I was chasing. It was the feeling of what I thought that number would make me feel. And looking at reverse engineering and saying, well, if that's what I want, what would make me feel confident, strong, powerful in my body now rather than waiting on some time. And it was the same way that I did with money and relationships and like that simple principle. Like I just want our audience to truly grasp it is not the thing, it is the feeling that you think that thing is going to bring you. That's what you can source inside of you. There's so much power in that when you realize that you have that agency. I love the fact that also, Brent, that you use entertainment as a gateway to awakening because there's so much power in laughter. And when we can get shared experience, community, like we are biologically wired to need these things. And laughter literally is medicine against the devil of misillusions.
And wonder too. Anything that where you're outside of yourself. That's what I think entertainment really does for people is it takes them outside of their life. And for most people, life is a struggle. It gives you those moments, a few moments when you're not thinking about all of the things that, that could go wrong, all the things that happened to you in the past. It's like people need a break from their own life. I mean, seriously, I tell people all the time, like, if you were okay, you wouldn't care. You wouldn't want a trip to Paris. You wouldn't want to go to Hawaii. You would rather be in your house alone than if you were really happy than to try to do anything else because it's always there's something behind it if you look. So it takes a little effort, but yeah, exactly what you did is what if you people would do that and go, why do I want this person? And when you put that in another person, especially you see this,
Ooh, in relationships.
right. What it does is it makes you happy. You're happy as long as everything is working exactly the way that you think it needs to work. Then you're okay. But as soon as anything shifts because you put your happiness in that person, now you're in big trouble. It's the same thing if you do put it in a car or a house or anything, your looks, anything
Mhm.
else, because there's something behind it. And the way you can tell, I love this. People will say, I'll say, what do you want? And they'll go, oh, I want $1 billion, right? Now it's not even a million anymore. It's like a
A
billion.
billion.
You got to have a billion. So it's like, okay, I'm going to give you $1 billion in cash and I'm going to drop you and that $1 billion on an island somewhere in the middle of nowhere with no people. And I'm going to leave you there. Do you still want the money? No. Right? Okay, I want this beautiful, gorgeous wife that blah blah blah. Okay, you're going to marry her. You're going to be miserable. She'll love you. It'll be fantastic for her, but you will feel uninspired every day, and you'll hate to come home. Do you want her? No. Well, that shows you right there that it's not the thing that you want. It is the whatever you think the thing is going to give you. And so when you really, that's such an easy thing to do. If you take 5 minutes today and do that, you'll start changing your life right away. You don't have to go to India and meditate in a cave, or you don't have to do some crazy. I see people all the time doing some crazy thing. It's like you have everything you need inside. You've got the most sophisticated supercomputer ever devised. We all have one, right? You're born with this thing. However, when you buy a cell phone or a toaster or a microwave or a piece of furniture from IKEA, you get a manual that tells you exactly how it works, right? This thing, which could literally change the universe and can make your life either hell or heaven, guess what? You're on your own. And I remember a teacher used to tell me, you need to focus. And finally I said one day, how do you focus? Like, did you teach that and I missed it? And then I was in third grade and she said, you're right. I really don't know how to focus. People say that, focus, focus, focus. Okay, tell me how to focus. And so once you start learning these lessons that you're in control, that, most people think that they're beholden to this mind, that this thing's like a crazy monkey up there and that you're afraid of it. When in reality, you are in charge. This thing is just gone. It's gone completely untrained. So it's running like crazy and throwing things around and you've got to get control of that back. It's not hard. It just takes a little bit of time. And that's the thing nowadays, everyone's this. I want the pill that does it. I want to watch a video and have it. Doesn't work that way. And you can't just hear us talking about it and not do it. You have to actually try these things. Everything that I've ever done that has worked for me and I've taught other people, I don't ever teach anything that somebody else said works or that is a pie in the sky thing. These are all
Same.
things that are easy to do and that you can do anywhere and do no matter where you are.
What are your favorite questions to ask yourself to redirect to awareness to the mind and like what the monkey mind is doing?
Well, I believe that nothing that lower mind says is ever going to help you. It's not, because if it knew what it was talking about, it would know. And it doesn't know because it'll give you both sides of an argument. Like something will happen, somebody doesn't call you, and then you're starting to get upset, right? And it's going, oh my God, when I get a hold of this person, right? And then you find out it's your anniversary or something, and that's why they're late. Now it's saying, oh God, she's amazing. So it just gave you both sides of the argument. You completely, let that slip. You let that go by. So I think what you ask yourself is, why am I thinking this? Why am I feeling this? Because those two things, because a lot of times I noticed in the past, a feeling would come up, an unanxious feeling, and my mind would try to find out something that would fit that. So sometimes it's backwards. The thought comes first, it brings up the feeling, right? But many times for me, I would have this feeling, and then my mind is going, okay, why is he feeling? And trying to find something that fits that. When did we have this feeling last, right? So if you start to realize that lower mind, which is, I don't really believe in subconscious. I believe we have an open mind. We start to build this area where we put things we don't like and things that we're
Mhm.
afraid of and all of that. And we kind of build this separate area there and we're afraid of it. Every time it rises back up, we push it back down. So when you feel you're driving down the highway, you see a car that looks like your ex-girlfriend, you start to get a lump in your throat and pain in your stomach. You feel that feeling, right? Most people push it right back down. It's trying to get out. It's energy. It's trying to pass through you. You never let it out the first time. Every time it comes up, you push it back down. So the next time you feel that, ask yourself, why am I feeling this? What exactly is behind this, instead of boom. It's like when somebody says, don't go there with me. It's like you're getting very close to some of my stuff that's going to start to
Mhm.
bother me, right? That's a gift. That is a gift. When that comes up, it's like when that leaves you, you're going to get such a rush of energy. You've got only so much life force, and you have taken that life force and you have diverted it into willpower, and you are holding inside you everything that ever bothered you and the few things that you really liked. But anything, snakes, and I like this color, and all of that is this tapestry that you've woven inside your head. So any question that you can ask yourself, that you can really ask yourself, that's you asking and not this programming mind, is a win. You're standing at the bank, you have a free moment. What am I thinking? What's on my mind right now? Because otherwise, it's going to run in the background. It's going to run in the background, and it's going to poison your life because you don't know what it's saying. When you realize what it's saying, like I said, you're going to see the most screwed up bunch of BS you've ever recognized in your life, because it's just not true anymore. It's old, rusty programming that's controlling your life.
Yes, like, I love the idea of consistently asking ourselves that question, because it's funny. I was having a conversation with my son, and I think you mentioned detachment and putting it outside of ourselves and putting it into somebody else. I think for parents, especially, like at least for me, I found that to be really challenging, because I'll see things in my children, and I'm like, unconsciously, I'm like, oh, I know that's me.
Right.
But that's 100% me. But I'm like, we need to work on discipline or these things. And I literally found myself yesterday saying something to my eldest son. And as I'm saying it, I hear myself in my mind and going, I'm like, how is that me? How is this actually, it's really not about him. It's really about me. And this is the thing that actually I need to work on as much as he needs to work on it. And that experience of being in relationship to also be in dialogue and role model, that it's like this is a process and a practice. This is not like a one and done, GLP-1 shot in the arm of awareness. This is like a continuous practice. I'm really curious actually to explore, why is it that you don't believe in a subconscious? You described it beautifully as a tapestry of all the programming of what we like and what we don't like, and basically are the tapestry of our personality. Having done the work that I've done with leaders for so long, I see so many people clutching and like death gripping to a past identity, because they're so scared of venturing into the unknown of like, what would life be like if I didn't have that constant niggling frustration that was just like the underlying current of my life. How do you loosen the grip on who you have been?
Well, the subconscious, you can call it whatever you. I just think people take that as an easy way to say, oh, like I can't get in there. It's some secretive area. When you were born, you had an open mind. All kids do. It's like you go out and play and you're happy and you laugh, and then you're sad and you cry, but it's over. You're not thinking about, you're not ruminating on what's happening. You're just living in the moment. And then over time, that starts to get beaten out of us. I mean, we got our parents, we go to school, all of that starts to happen. So we build this false version of ourselves, is what it is. And a lot of times it's, built for survival. People have horrible home lives as children, and you build this, survival mode. But now you're 55 and your mom and dad are long dead and you're still living in that turmoil. It's time to look at it. I mean, I know victim blaming, but at some point you have to take responsibility that right now you're holding it in there. And when you let it go, you're going to get such peace. And the kingdom is within you. In every religious text, there is some form of that. Okay.
Mhm.
Because that's what's going on. It's inside. Everybody looks outside. And when you start going in, spending time with yourself, meditating, contemplating, whatever it is. And again, that's why cell phones and everything, it just distracts us so much. Nobody wants to sit alone. But I think that's what you have to do. I know that's what you have to do. It's some, part of your day has to be spent on yourself. It's like people now as adults, they'll go, it's too late. It's too late for me. My dreams are over. I can't do this. I don't know why I ever wanted to do that. Now I just have to be whatever it is. I can't change that. And when you start to realize that you've got this immense power, this immense peace that you you don't need to chase things to find it. You just need to go into to find it. So you've got to kind of kill that version of you. There's also that line that says, you must die to be reborn, meaning die to that ego part of you in order to find the power and the peace inside of you, because you've built a fake version of you. I always tell people, it's like you have a car. I'm 50, so I have a 50-year-old car, never washed it. And now I'm driving through, I'm driving down the highway and I'm sitting in the car trying to see the road, and I'm looking through layer after layer after layer of gunk from my past. And so I can't see reality. It's like I mentioned earlier, you can't see it. So you're always looking at a skewed version of that. And so you're living in an illusion. I mean, nothing is really real. You care only about yourself. You're on a planet in outer space. People forget that you're on a ball in outer space, and you're worried about what color your dress is and the scratch on your car. And if you got a stain on your pants, think about it. That's what we're doing, with this amazing gift. So that's how you start breaking away from that ego. That's the overview effect. That's one way to do it. You can do positive thinking, where your mind says something and you go to the opposite positive thing. You can do anything where you're bringing awareness to it. I'm on a planet in outer space. I'm walking around in a suit, this bodysuit. It's amazing. I can do anything I want. And why am I worried about, if Mary didn't talk to me this morning when she walked by? I mean, that's what we do with our entire lives. It's like all of that stuff. So the more awareness you bring, the more you start to realize this false ego, and piece by piece, it falls away. That's the great thing. Over time, when I look back and I go, okay, I stopped drinking, I stopped smoking, I stopped drugs, everything, money problem, because I thought my whole life money was the answer. I grew up watching, I don't know if you remember the TV show Dallas. Matter of fact, there's Larry Hagman up there in my office. I love that show. I started watching it at 4 years old. I watched the whole 13 years, right? So first of all, my mom dropped the ball there for sure, because, what kid should be watching that? But it changed my whole life because it was programming. I really thought, oh, I want to be like JR. He gets all the women. He has all the money. He's always got a smile on his face. He gets away with everything. And when I first started working out on the road and started making money, and I started doing very well very early on, and I got the money, I realized that it was all BS, that what I thought my entire life would make me happy didn't make me happy. And that is when I started drinking. I started smoking. I didn't do any of that before. I did it after trying to come up with something to get past this idea that the thing I thought I wanted my entire life was now here. And now is it worse? It's worse because I have payments and I have all this stuff I didn't have before. And so I did everything I could to numb myself. I had $1 million by the time I was 21, I was broke by 30, and I made it back again by 40 because I just didn't care. I thought, what is the use to any of this? Because I'm not happy. I have what I thought I wanted, and now I don't. So that again was one of those moments. I've had several where I look back and go, I can see these moments. And then I look back now and I go, okay, I stopped smoking. I stopped drinking. Just like we were talking, cold turkey, I didn't do anything. I didn't even think about it. There was no, like, I got to take a patch and then I got to step down to this and I got to stop taking Vicodin and do half. I just stopped everything little by little by little. I had insomnia for years. I'm out in 10 minutes every night. No matter what, no matter where I am. I mean, it's incredible. And so when I look back now and go, oh my God, I can see everything I've been up against, including cancer, everything I've ever been up against. And now where I am now at a place where I wouldn't trade it for anything, because I get up in the morning, I'm happy. I go through the day, I'm present and happy. You can't say anything that's going to upset me, which is what most people are not living. They are waiting for someone to do something that they're going to respond to. Right.
Yeah.
So I live, and I'm not saying, oh, this is so great, but it is for me. I mean, I to live the way I lived and to live the way I live now, it's like night and day. I mean, the voice doesn't really talk. I mean, it talks occasionally, but now when it does, and it's normally like, I'm outside on a cruise or something, it's hot, right? And so it's going, oh my God, why are you standing up? It'll start. And again, you just have to kind of look at the overview. I'm on a planet, there's a star 93 million miles away. It's hot. That's why you look at something to kind of get you out of that. But I never tell people as a reason, but when you do this, when you start looking at yourself, when you start doing a little meditation, the voice stops talking, because the only reason it's talking is because you are not okay. It's trying to make you okay. Think of things. Okay, maybe if this happened, I'd be okay. Maybe if I got this job, I'd be okay. That's what's going on in your mind. The more that you work on yourself, the less that voice has to talk about. And then you start gaining control. of, you're trying to figure out something, you can make the voice talk. You're trying to, do something, not it's just talking in there. Who'd want a computer that just spits out stuff, by itself? And
ChatGPT.
it's saying things to you. Not only that it's not true, it's scaring you. It's like warning you about something. That's what you've got in here. And you can't get away from it until you take the courage to turn inward and look at it. You can blame everybody else and blame your past and blame your situation. But until you look in, you're never going to free yourself, because there's no other way to do it. No matter what they tell you, there's no other way to do it unless you go inside and you release yourself bit by bit. It happens slowly over time. Your life will never be the same. And no matter how old you are or where you're watching this from, you can do this. I promise you. You just have to take the time for yourself and give yourself another chance. You've given everyone second chances, third chances, 387th chances. It's like, give yourself another chance to be happy. That's all you want, And I'll tell you, the money, just like you said, the money, the health, the better relationship, all of that comes when you're okay with yourself, because you're no longer out there trying to make the world be the way you want it to be, to do the things you think will make you happy. But now you're out there living. And so everything will be better. Your relationships will be better. It's like when people tell me I'm dating, they'll say I'm doing the online dating, right? You know what you're doing? You're looking for yourself. You're filling out a form of all these things. And by doing that, you are removing from the equation everybody else. You're picking, oh, I like blondes. Why do you like blondes? Because maybe somebody in your past, you got to look at it. Why do you have the likes that you have? Why? There's a reason. There's a reason for everything. Like, it could be you were 4 years old and you saw a movie that really connected to you somehow. And now you're 44 years old and you're still living your life and loving blondes because of this movie where you saw a guy who, whatever. That's how fickle this thing is, And again, once you bring some light to it and you bring a little scrutiny, you can take it slow. You can start slow. It will dissolve all by itself. You don't have to go to a therapist. The therapists are great, but you don't have to go sit there and relive all of it. You never feel better anyway. You go home and you feel like it takes 3 or 4 days to get over it, and then it's time to go back. You dredge it all up. This leaves you without you even knowing it sometimes, because your mind is so powerful. It'll disguise things. It'll change. Your mind is an incredible thing. It doesn't want this energy in there. It will help you release it, but you've got to do something. You've got to get up there and you've got to try.
I love that you used the blonde, the blonde hair example, because ever since I was a kid, my best friend has always been blonde hair and blue eyed, and my husband is like blondish, or was before he went gray and then now dyes it. But my daughter, who I birthed, is blonde hair, blue eyed, and it's a recessive gene, because they're like, my husband has green eyes, I have brown eyes. I'm like, where'd these bright blue eyes come from? I'm like, that is the power of manifestation.
Really? I'll tell you what, people laugh about, manifestation, law of attraction. It's absolutely real. And most of the time, everyone is using it backwards. You are so negative and you are so worried and so afraid of things that you are manifesting what you do not want, because the feeling is what does it. And the more you're feeling it, even if it's the mind, as brilliant as it is, it doesn't really know. It doesn't know if you're doing something or if you're thinking about it. That's one thing. I do a lot of sports teams. And one time I did the Cleveland Browns, and they had a sports psychologist in there. And all this guy did was taught the team how to play the game in their mind. And when they've done studies on this, people that have done this, where they've run the race in their mind, Olympic runners and stuff, they have improved like 30, 40% just from doing that. If you took a group of, I think it was 3 groups of students, they did this 30, 30, 30. None of them could play basketball, right? So every day after school, they put 30 of those kids on the court for an hour. They played basketball. They put 30 in a classroom with an instructor who taught them to play the game in their mind. And then third group did nothing as far as basketball is concerned, right? At the end, they were all tested. The group that did nothing, completely no change. But the 2 other groups, the ones that went on the court, they improved by like 42%. The group that didn't improved by 40. So almost the same thing, because your mind doesn't know if you're doing it or thinking about it. That's why all the same endorphins fire, the same emotions fire. That's why when you see something like an ex-girlfriend's, a car that looks like it, all the feeling rushes back. Your mind doesn't know it doesn't. So you take this, you use this to your advantage, because that means you can sneak things kind of past the mind, especially things like if you don't believe in what it is that you're doing or that you want, you can trick your mind. You can trick your mind into manifesting by taking away the, oh my God, when's it going to happen? It's like when you order something from Amazon, you don't get on the phone and go, oh, when's it coming? When's it coming? When's it coming? When's it coming? That's what people do. It's not, if it hasn't come in a week, it's not going to come. It's like people think now because of The Secret, you just sit on your sofa and you imagine Ferraris all day and they're out in your driveway. They forget that there is another part to this, the action part, but it is real. Most of us are using it backwards. We're manifesting a life we don't want. We are repeating what happened to us yesterday. We're bringing that into the future. So we are literally living in the past. And then you're wondering why it's like Groundhog Day every day in your life. People go, I'm in a rut. I feel nothing changes. Yeah, but the only person that can do that is you. A job isn't going to do it, a house, a car, nothing. You've got to do that. You have all the power. We all blame everyone else and we put it on everyone else and we say, if this happened, now just take some action for yourself. You deserve it.
Yeah, I think I love your conviction on how these principles have changed your life. And in seeing that, I would love to know your spiritual perception of what is the relationship between our will and divine will, and where alignment comes into play, because I think people have a misconception around, like, if there is alignment then that means everything comes with ease and it's a lot easier. I'm like, have you had a kid? Like, sometimes there is challenge, there is facing yourself, but there comes presence with that moment. And it doesn't mean that motherhood is not a part of who you were meant to be, or parenthood is not a part of who you were meant to be, that's not aligned. It could be that there may be some ways that you were thinking, that may be some programming. But I'd be very curious to know what you perceive the relationship between will and divine will to be.
First of all, life happens. That's the thing. Life is not going to stop because you become spiritual and you start awakening. Life, in many cases, is going to start to ratchet up for you because the things that bothered you in the past are going to come up to the surface. That's what people don't understand. It's like you took all of these things that scared you, bothered you, you hated, you stuffed them inside you. And now every time they come up, you're uncomfortable, you push it back down. You've got to have some uncomfortable feelings when this comes up and you get rid of it. You have to. You can't be afraid of that. As far as spiritual, I'm a Buddhist, but I never was really a believer. When I started meditating years ago and I went to that place, a second of that is better than a trip to Paris, Hawaii. It is. That incredible. It was like, I always tell people it was like rocket fuel for the soul, because when that happened to me, I was like, it's proof. Most people you got to see it to believe it, And I was unfortunately like that. Now I understand you've got to believe it first and then you'll see it. But I did get the proof. I went into a place in meditation that was so beautiful and so peaceful and so incredible that everything started to change. I started to meditate more and more. I meditate every day for 90 minutes, and I don't recommend it to anyone. I just say it's changed my life for all these years. So I do 45 minutes in the morning, 45 in the evening. If you can do 10 minutes to start and get up to eventually 15, that is all you need to change your life. Okay. But what I believe is that we are the consciousness, we are the soul. God is consciousness. If you go down, and science tells you go down to the quantum field and its energy, they even say it is an omnipresent field. Well, omnipresent is the only thing. I've never heard anything called that except when somebody's talking about God, something that's everywhere, something that's omnipresent. Okay. Everything that's ever been or will be is created there. Okay. But you're the soul. So you're not this body, you're the soul that's in this body. You're down here learning for whatever reason. And when this is all over, consciousness lives on. The body falls away, the consciousness will still be there. I believe it. I've seen, I've worked with great masters who have taught that, but I've seen glimpses of it myself. And I'll tell you what it did for me is I was afraid of death my entire life. So afraid that I couldn't talk about it, that I couldn't, I had a will that said, I wanted to be not embalmed, cremated immediately, because I didn't want to be buried in the ground. And it's like all of these things. But I saw, that we do go on, that at this consciousness that we are, God is in there. The kingdom is within you. And to find that, whatever you believe God to be, I promise you, and I've had atheists tell me all the time, I don't believe in anything, and then come back and go, okay, There's
Yeah.
something going on here because it's the only way to know is to experience it yourself. But I believe we go on, we come back down. It's like a learning ground. It's a training ground. Yeah, for whatever reason you're here to learn something, to improve things. And what people don't understand, I believe we're here to make it better for everyone else. Like the moment in front of you is not just here for you. It's been billions of years in the making, cause and effect for billions of years. Here's the moment. And then people go, I don't want this. I don't like this. It's like, are you crazy? You are turning this moment is, I don't want this moment. It's uncomfortable. Okay. It's taken billions and billions and billions of years and all these things to happen. And you don't want reality. It's like, you've got to accept it. And I believe spirituality, that's it, is accepting reality. Okay. Knowing that, okay, you don't have to agree with what's going on, but at least if you accept reality, then you're in a power position to deal with it instead of being sucked into it, into some
Mhm.
kind of drama. Spirituality in everyday life, I think, is just something happens, a moment happens that's dramatic. Okay. Like I have this aunt who's so negative. Everything that could possibly happen happens to this woman. She goes through the car wash and the window comes down in the car and the entire car's filled. She comes out of the car wash, cars filled with soap pouring out of the windows. My mom tells me the story and I go, I could never see that happening to anyone, but I can totally see that happening to her. She's like a negativity vortex. Her and her husband, it's like negativity, negativity, negativity.
Huh?
So it's like, I think spirituality at the lowest sense or the easiest sense is just going through the day. Okay, the moment's happening. What can I do to make this better, make this moment better, to improve this moment? No matter what it is, even if it's brushing your teeth, if you're taking a shower, think about your shower this morning. Were you in there going, cleaning? No, you're in there going, planning your day, thinking about tomorrow. That's what we do. We take the quiet moments. You're driving. What are you doing? You're in your head having an argument with your spouse. People tell me all the time, oh, I was arguing with my wife. They're literally doing both sides of the argument, right? I'm going to say this, and then she's going to say, you're not. It's crazy. It's complete insanity, but we've all done it for so long. We are so used to it. We don't realize. Spirituality, I think, takes you to the place where you go, the moment's happening. What can I do here? And is something dramatic, is this worth my peace? If you have the wherewithal to ask that question, it's never worth your peace. Like 99.999% of the time. If one tiny percent of the time it is worth, then go and know it. Know that you've, accepted it. But most of the other time, you're going to realize it's not worth your peace. Because every time something happens, you close that inner heart, close everything off, and then you've got to wait for something to open you again instead of just staying open. I learned a long time ago, people think, how do I open? You open by not closing, which is what most of us do. It's all the time. It's like open. It's like living in a house with the blinds and you're constantly, dark,
Yeah.
light, dark, light, instead of just letting the light come in, which is you've got an amazing energy inside you, life force. It's surging through you. And that's why when something incredible happens in your life, you feel it, you know? And people don't understand, but they'll say, well, that's not in me all the time. And it is, because think about it. If you had a breakup with your boyfriend and you were so depressed you couldn't move, you haven't been out of the bed for a month, the house is a mess, you look like you haven't taken a shower, everything is bad, right? The boyfriend calls and says, oh my God, I made a mistake, I love you, I'm going to come see you in 10 minutes. What happens to you? All of a sudden, the energy comes up. You're out of bed, you're taking a shower, you're doing shaving your legs, cleaning the house. Where did that energy come from? The guy didn't give it to you. The phone didn't give it to you. You gave it to yourself. You allowed it to come through. That is in there, but it's blocked with, I hate this. I don't want that. I'm afraid of this. He did this to me. She did that to me, blah, 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 blah. And every time you become aware, every time you take a stand and decide, do I want this to happen? What that does is it creates more and more focus. Every time you pull back your focus, that's what meditation does. I tell people the easiest meditation is you just sit cross-legged on the floor or in a chair, feet flat on the floor, close your eyes, count 1 to 20 over and over for 10 minutes. It's the easiest meditation in the world, and it works because it tricks your lower mind. It gives your lower mind a very easy job. It's counting. All of a sudden, you'll start to transcend the mind. It's like what transcendental meditation does when you're doing a mantra over and over.
Mhm.
You're doing the same thing. If you go to 57, you know you've gone too far. The trick here is you don't think about it. You don't get mad at yourself. You don't try to figure out what number you were on. Immediately go back to 1. If you're 1, 2, 3, what am I having for lunch today? And as soon as you understand that's happening, you go back to 1. What that's doing is building focus. Every time you pull your focus back, that is increasing that muscle, that focus muscle. It spills out into your life. Next time something dramatic happens, it almost will seem like things slow down a little bit. It's like you're in the zone and you're in a very powerful position because instead of being sucked into the drama, and now you're yelling and arguing, and then it's a week later you've been unconscious. Now you get to make the decision: do I want to get pulled into this? And that's a huge difference here, you know, in what's happening. So now you're in a power position instead of I'm sucked in and it's over. So if you can meditate every day, 10 minutes first thing when you wake up and 10 minutes around lunch, it will change your life. And it doesn't cost anything. All you've got to do is count. Anybody can do it. You can do it anywhere. I do it on airplanes. I do it in the backseat of Ubers or taxis or cars, whatever. You can do it anywhere. And the great thing about doing it around lunchtime, it will rejuvenate you for the rest of your day because it does bring energy. And that's why I don't ever say you don't really want to do it last thing at night because it will conjure up energy that'll be hard to go to sleep with. But those things are all you need. Bring some awareness to what the voice is saying. What can I do to make this moment better? And so that is taking the view off of yourself. That's what that's doing, is taking the constant, oh, it's always about me, and putting it on everyone else, the world, animals, whatever, anything, right? And you just have to give yourself the grace to make mistakes. And what you were saying earlier, which I thought was beautiful too. I always think of this as like you are a heat-seeking missile. You have to keep changing your course, which is what happens like when they fire a missile that's got, that goes somewhere. You have to keep, okay, this is wrong, pull it back. That's what you do. It's not going to happen overnight, but it'll happen every day. You'll get more strength, inner strength. And then when something does happen and you go off, you go right back on. And you keep changing that, and eventually you're going to get to where you want to go.
I heard it said by a really great business coach, and I think it's a phenomenal spiritual or mindset principle as well, is that frustration is just due to a lack of a system. And having a system like meditation, like just counting, like I practice transcendental meditation, and I don't do the twice a day, but I do the once a day. And I do it pretty much like religiously. That is my devotion at about 2:15, 2:30 when I'm putting my daughter down for a nap. Once she goes to sleep, I start the meditation, and that resets me for the rest of the day. And I can feel it. I literally feel it if there have been days gone by where I haven't had that devotion, that time. And the power of that reset, of what that can do in that training. I mean, for me, I've been practicing transcendental meditation, and I'm someone who is like, I'm a not meditator. I'm a highly driven, high
Me too.
performer, runner. Like, that running was my gateway drug into meditation. And then when I found that running was spiking my cortisol too much because I was so stressed, I had to find something else. And that was when I found TM, and that reset of a daily reset practice has been one of the greatest gifts that I have ever experienced, because of the ability to touch nothingness, in a way of nothingness and everything at the same time.
Yeah. And I practice TM as well. I mean, I took the TM course years ago, and I'll do TM very often on airplanes or,
Mhm.
certain places. It's the same idea. Whether you're doing a mantra, whether you're counting, what you're doing is giving your mind that lower minded job, and it will get you to peace. And if you're really stressed, it will, for many people, it will at least make it manageable at the beginning. And then, I mean, it'll change your life, but you will see results fairly quickly with meditation if you just do it. It's not some new age thing. People make the mistake of going, it's some woo-hoo thing, right? Or it's a religious thing. And so some people won't want to do it on religious grounds. And it's neither. I mean, it's literally spending some time with yourself alone. You're not, chanting any religious things. You're not praying to anything. You are just working on yourself. Everybody has 20 minutes a day, right? You do. You get up a little early, stay up a little late, whatever. But for something that's free, that'll transform your life, I mean, what's the cost benefit, ratio there? It's like all benefit, no cost.
Our egos will love to take that short-term gain for long-term pain. So the short-term gain of like, "Oh, I'm just gonna work for an extra 20 minutes instead of doing this practice that's really beneficial for me in the long term." But eventually, those short-term sacrifices end up burning you out and frying your system to where then its negative consequences tend to incur because of the law of cause and effect. I have just loved our conversation. I loved your perception on how we can think about it and some practices that we can actually implement into our life and understanding that just the leap from lack of awareness to awareness, while it may sometimes seem great, it can be as simple as standing in line in a bank and just asking yourself a question and asking yourself, what am I thinking? I would love to jump into a little rapid fire to wrap this up.
Sure.
What is your favorite character in a book or a movie and why?
My favorite character in a book or a movie. Oh god. I would say my favorite character in a movie, this is it's gonna date me, but I loved as a kid Back to the Future. So I'm gonna say Doc Brown because really it kind of influenced me. I know he was that story of like a guy who failed and failed and failed and then made it. It was a dumb movie, but it inspired something in me, and I've always had a soft spot for that movie.
What person, alive or alive and in their time, would you want to trade places with just for a day?
Either I love Michael Singer, the spiritual teacher is incredible, but Yogananda is somebody else, I've studied his teachings for years and years and years. Somebody who's really, a master who's broke through. I think to experience someone who's patched into universal consciousness, who's living, in both would be an incredible thing. Most people aren't ready for that. I don't think I am either, but I would love to see how that feels.
It's like one day where you're hit by lightning and you're like, "Oh,
Right.
that's a lot of energy that I get to experience in one day." As a very successful entrepreneur, what is your money routine?
Well, I'll tell you what, it used to be I had business managers and everything else, and I had, even for my business, agents and managers and promoters. And when I first took control, which was just a few years ago, where I took control, and now there isn't anything that I don't understand. It used to be I had to farm out graphics, I had to farm out. I took time during COVID to learn all of that, video editing, and I know a lot of that people go, okay, I can pay someone to do these things, but you have to at least have a knowledge because then you can't get taken advantage of by someone who's saying it's going to take this long and cost this much. So I think just having a basic knowledge of every part of your business is a huge thing.
100%. What do you define to be your kingdom?
Within, I think that it's the universe. I think we're all connected together, and that's what I love about it. And that's why this message is so powerful that I want to get out there. It's like we're all connected. We have peace inside us that we can uncork. We just don't know it. It's like you're living on a gold mine and you just don't, it's like a beggar living on top of a gold mine. You're on top of everything you've ever wanted for the right reasons too, not for, the reasons that you think. You just have to patch into that.
Yeah, not for proving or ego or but more for purpose. What do you define to be your purpose in this lifetime?
I used to think it was, to make other people happy because that was a way of saying, okay, I have to think I'm doing something by being this performer. But I think now, really, I think my purpose is teaching people this because now when I do anything, cruises and condos and casinos, I always do a mind power seminar for free that I give them because that's the thing that changes people. I put that in my show too, but it's still entertainment with kind of like a flavor of this. But when we actually go into this for 2 hours, it changes everything. So my purpose, I think, is to teach people you're not alone. You can do this no matter how old you are. You're 80 years old. It doesn't matter. If you have 1 day left and you can change to peace and happiness, it's never too late to do this.
Lastly, what does it mean to crown yourself?
I don't know if you're crowning yourself like saying you're completed. I don't think you ever are because, right? I think crowning yourself is realizing, this is your kingdom or you're a part of a kingdom, right? And yet you are a king or a queen. You're not a lowly commoner. We all have an amazing power. And it doesn't matter if you're Einstein or, a kid in college. It doesn't matter if you're somebody with a model with amazing looks or somebody not so talented in the looks department. We all have exactly the same amount of power in us. How much time are you going to give to yourself to flip that switch? Because you're not going to do it overnight, but if you start doing it today, in a couple of weeks, you will see change and it will inspire you. You'll go forward.
Brent, I have loved our conversation. I would love to share with our audience, where can we find you? How can we come see one of your shows? How can we work with you? How can we tap into this infinite mind power that we are, this gold mine that we literally are sitting on?
The easiest way, brentwebb.com is my website, BRENTWEBB. But one thing I've done, I have a free Facebook group, and we've got about 10,000 people in there now. But it's all this. It's not selling anything, but it's all everyday, teaching tips, techniques, strategies. And people come in and they say, I've seen you live and this helped me. And so it's just a community of people that are like-minded and that help each other, which there's no selling, no spam, none of that. But if you're interested, it's brentsgroup.com. That gets you the invitation. It's free to join. And again, there's nothing to buy there. It's just if you're ready to try this and you want to, you can do it by just what we talked about today. But if you want some extra support, you can go to brentsgroup.com.
Jump in and join it. I will see you in there. I just joined today, so I'm honored to be a part of your group and to have had you on the show. Thank you so much for imparting your decades of wisdom and bringing life and entertainment as well, and helping us tap into that inner life force and that gold mine within. As always, my fellow sovereigns, own your throne, mind your kingdom, and let's build an empire. Till next time. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If what you heard resonated with you, be sure to subscribe and start creating a bigger impact now by sharing this with a friend. Just by doing that one simple act of kindness, you are creating a royal ripple to support more people in their sovereignty. And if you're not already following on social media, connect with me everywhere at crownyourself.now for more inspiration. I am so excited to connect with you in the next episode. And in the meantime, go out there and create a body, business, and life that rules. Because today, you crown yourself.